I'm Melissa and welcome to Oh My Word, Melly. I know I have been missing the last few weeks and I'm extremely sorry guys that I missed posting videos, but fingers crossed, I hope that I'll be back into routine. I'm trying as much as possible to get back into my weekly routine. I'm trying not to jinx it, but I changed my job, so that means I get a bit more time to do this. So let's see, trying not to jinx it guys, but again I'm really happy to be back today with a video, and this video is so long overdue. So I am here today with my August reading wrap up. Enough of me rambling, let's see what books I read in August and my thoughts on those books and whether I recommend them or not. So in August I read 4 books. I know it's not a lot, but this year my reading has been so sporadic over the month. Sometimes I read more books, sometimes I read less books, but it's all with my workload. But in August I managed to read 4 books, out of which one is a novella which I was continuing from my July reads as well, and 3 more other novels which I absolutely can't wait to talk to you all about, because those have been like books that have been on my radar, on my TBR for a while now, and some new books are from authors that I have read previously, like sequels to books that I have already read, and also a new author to me. So without further ado, let's see what my first book of the month was. So I started August with one of the books that I have been eagerly waiting from the beginning of the month, and that is House of Roots and Ruin by Erin A. Craig, which is the second book of the Sisters of Salt series. I have a good feeling that it's a series. So this is a young adult book with like a fairy tales turned dark kind of vibes. So book 1 of this is House of Salt and Sorrows, and it's the retelling of the 12 Dancing Princesses. If you all have heard that story when you were growing up. So that fairy tale, so with a very horror and gothic twist, and this book is a continuation of that and is revolving around the youngest of the 12 princesses, or in this case the 12 sisters, or the 12 cursed sisters. Guys, if y'all have not read House of Salt and Sorrows, I think y'all definitely should. It's definitely a series, right? So it flows, it's not standalones of its own. I won't say it is, but like you need to know what happens in Salt and Sorrows to know what happens in Roots and Ruins, is what I'm getting at. From book 1, it has fast forwarded where now even the youngest one has grown up into a teen. I think she's 18, if I'm not sure. I can't remember the ages. I suck at remembering ages. Anyway, and the remaining of the sisters, now that I cannot tell you what that means, so y'all have to read the book again because I don't want to spoil it, right? So the remaining of the sisters are all grown up, and this book is revolving around the youngest of the 12 sisters, and that is Verity Thomas. How do I say this? So this book is eerily spooky, creepy. It has a gothic, like fantasy mystery kind of plot to it, and like House of Salt and Sorrows was more revolving around curses and horror, and this just turns into a very spooky, eerie, I don't know, skin crawling kind of vibe. Like I was just having goosebumps from the very beginning. It has horror. I won't say it doesn't have horror elements, but I thought there were more horror elements in book 1, and I couldn't help comparing book 1 to this because I absolutely loved book 1. And everyone who read book 2 would agree with me that book 1 was so higher up than this. And this book has some supernatural elements and dark secrets that you are going to go on a journey of I don't know, investigating these mysteries and stumbling across mysterious, like, I don't know, secrets and all those dark, gory details that you wouldn't see coming, and that's something I absolutely love. Like, when you're reading this plot, you could feel that something is not right. Everything is too perfect, and it has an entire reason behind it, and you'll be like, once it clicks and once this eerie, unsettling feeling vanishes when you're reading, you'll be like, oh my word, this is why I was feeling this. Like, you will know something is just not right, and when you stumble across it, you'll be like, whoa, I wasn't expecting this. So that's something I absolutely loved about this book. And like, Erin A. Craig's writing, guys, like, I discovered her with House of Salt and Sorrows few years ago, and definitely she's going to be an author. I love her style of writing. I love that gothic vibe to it, and it's so immersive. Like, you feel that you fell through this wormhole and you are in that that world, that you are just a spectator, but you are also involved in it, so you just feel everything, and that's some kind of writing that I absolutely love. This book not only has the horror gothic vibe, it has a very secondary romance plot to it. I won't say secondary because you will see that there is so much of romance happening between the main characters, Verity Thomas and Alexandra Lauren, but it's all, I don't know, it's just an underlying factor to me because there were so many other things happening in this book that the romance becomes secondary and is a part of the plot, of the major plot. It's not just a romance book. So I was just spellbound when reading it, and I couldn't put it down. I am again saying I love book 1 better and much better, but book 2 was also just captivating, and it like revolves around flowers and botany, whereas book 1 was all about this salt kind of nature. And this too has like gods, goddesses, half gods, like Greek. I don't know if it's Greek, but it has some supernatural element to it. And then talking about the romance aspect of it, it has insta love, which is not my favorite, but insta love too has a reason behind it, which again I did not see coming. So the theme of this book is that, guys, you might guess it, but the mystery is so much more than what you could fathom. It's going to just be so gory, and you're just going to be like, what the word did I just read? That's something like, I just couldn't believe that was happening. And the plot twist, man, whoa. Like, I just love the plot twist, and this book ends in a cliffhanger, which again I did not see happening. Gosh, like, I was just surprised. I'm just lost for words thinking of this as well, that I just can't wait for another book. There is definitely another book the way this book finished, because if there isn't, I'm going to go crazy, because it ends in a cliffhanger and I need to know what happens next. So I told you that feeling where I was feeling a little unsettled while reading, right? But that goes away around chapter 35, 36, and that's where the real clues start coming together and all that in this fantasy mystery kind of plot. And then you'll be like, it will be like that light bulb moment of where all those unsettling feelings of yours just starts getting resolved, and thereon, that I absolutely love. Again, I did prefer book 1 to this, and again, I'm not a horror fan, but I missed the horror aspects or the gravity of the horror aspects book 1 had rather than what was in book 2. I think it needed a little bit more horror because of that standard book 1 had. And for all those reasons, I gave this a 4-star rating. However, again I'm saying I recommend this series to everyone. Start with House of Salt and Sorrows, then go to House of Roots and Ruin. Guys, these are perfect Halloween reads. So Halloween is going to be like next month. So if you all plan your TBRs per season, per month, I think these are 2 books that you all should check out. So my next read for August was me continuing the novellas that I started in July, which is by Dennis Williams, and it's the airport novellas. The Love Connection, The Missed Connection, and this month I completed this novella trilogy by reading The Sweetest Connection. If you all want to hear my thoughts on the 2 books before this in the novella, click up here so that you all can watch my July reading wrap up. Talking about The Sweetest Connection, the last book of this trilogy of novellas, it is again in dual POV. Guys, I'm a sucker for dual POVs. And this book follows a best friends to lovers kind of vibe, and I love the plot. It was just a cute plot. It was like predictable, you know, this flowery, sweet plots. And it's a novella, right? Like, so that is expectable, I think, like it to be predictable. Like you expect it, right? Because it's a short book and it's just a cutesy read. So this follows Tegan and Silas, and they have been best friends for almost 7 years from college, and you know they are learning French, you know, that adventure of where they learn French and all that. And Tegan works in this chocolate shop in the airport, and Silas also works in the airport. I can't remember what he does, but it's somewhat like a concierge is what I understood. And Tegan stumbles across this mysterious love letter in the chocolate shop, and she has 7 days to solve whose this mysterious love letter is and to find who this wonderful couple is and to return their letter to them. 7 days because Tegan is going to France, I think, because she's an aspiring or a budding author, and she has this whole boot camp for authors kind of thing in France. So she has 7 days before she does this transatlantic move to solve this mystery. And who better than to solve a mystery than your best friend? But 7 days could change everything. And while they are stumbling across, you know, trying to figure out who is this couple in the airport who are pining for each other through this love letter, they end up understanding that or realizing that they have feelings for each other. So cute, guys, like so cute. I know it's just obvious, but like it was such a cute read and like a sweet read, like it was Sweetest Connection. And oh my word, I just enjoyed reading it along the way, no matter how predictable it was, no matter how much you know, okay, these 2 are going to get together and all that. It was just a cute read and sweet, and it was just fun. There was spice. I'm not saying like, whoo, over the chart spice, but there was some spice, and the spice was okay when it happened, and it was just so needed. And then all of these grand gestures of him appearing in the country where she was, and you know, all that. I think I'm talking about the correct book. Gosh, I just said something and I'm like, is that this book? No, this wasn't. Or was it? Anyway, there was grand gestures in this book. Maybe y'all can read and find out if I was right or wrong, and maybe correct me in the comments down below saying, bro, you spoke about the wrong book. But yes, there was grand gestures, and also, how do I say this? So they liked each other, but they didn't tell each other. So more than a Sweetest Connection, I think that was a miscommunication, but they worked through it. And I just love how Silas was like, I understand you have this important life-changing path in your career which you have to do. So we'll hold on, or like we'll park this relationship or discovering ourselves together. You go on your I don't know, you go to France, do your thing and come back, but then the grand gestures of where they can't wait without each other and they just start falling in love more and more. The distance make them closer and closer and closer. I just loved it, but I didn't like the miscommunication. I know you can't just go up to someone and say, I like you, especially when it comes to best friends to lovers. You don't want to ruin that friendship is the normal theme, but like, come on. That's just, I don't know, I just don't like miscommunication. From all the 3 books in this trilogy of novellas, I liked the second book more, which is The Missed Connection. I just absolutely loved it even more. And if I am to rate the 3 books of this trilogy, it will be The Missed Connection, then the second would be The Sweetest Connection, and finally the last book, which is The Love Connection. And based on my reading experience, even though this was a short novella, I gave this book a 3-star rating. I just couldn't give it more. It was just a flowery read that I wanted to just get done with so I could complete this trilogy. So the next 2 books I read this month is none other than Tokyo Ever After by Emiko Jean as well as Tokyo Dreaming by Emiko Jean. I am a bit confused if this is a duology or a series. I thought it was a duology, and I just stumbled across one Instagram post recently where it said it was a series and there is a book 3. But I don't know, I cannot find any detail whatsoever of that anywhere. I tried. So let's base this that it's a duology, which I absolutely loved. Y'all have to think of this duology like Crazy Rich Asians meets Princess Diaries, but it's just not that. It's just wholesome and on its own itself, but that if you want something to relate, it's something like a cross between that, but it's just more, which I absolutely loved. As I said, Princess Diaries, y'all must have got some idea. So this is about a girl called Izumi, who is an American born Japanese girl and is raised by her single mom in America as well, but she stumbles across something in her mom's room which shows her that her father is the crown prince of Japan. Tada! Overnight she learns that she's royalty. And guys, I love this secret royal or the royalty theme, the secret heir kind of themes in books. I absolutely love. Not only in books, like I love watching movies like that. So she learns that she is the crown prince of Japan's daughter, and bam, things change so fast. Like all her life, she has been wondering what her father is like. Will she ever meet him? Does he miss her and all that? And now she wants to get to know him. But the family reunion that she thought is not what happens. She doesn't get that warm welcome from her extended family. Like she has to navigate through all this press and scandals and, you know, family being like, from where did you come? And like, are you trying to steal the royal titles and all that, you know? All these political agendas in families, and I love that. And she's like a teen just in high school, almost wrapping up high school, and like this is like more of a coming of age kind of story as well. So it was just amazing to read, and I love Asian inspired books or BIPOC represented books, so that was really fun to read as well. And this is also a feel-good romance book, and this has the forbidden bodyguard, you know, romance kind of trope. And this is the first book I read with bodyguard romance, and I'm like, I need to read more of it. I just love the tabooness, or you know, it just sounds so wrong, but I love that forbidden romance kind of thing, and to be the bodyguard and to not fall for the princess you are looking after. I just kind of liked it, like princess and bodyguard vibes, and it was like grumpy sunshine, bad first impressions, you know. This bodyguard was like this grumpy person, but inside he's a softie, and like she breaks his shell and gets to know him, and they fall in love. The slow burn, like this is slow burn that I wanted, right? And this is again young adult, so it won't be that in detail, but it's such a beautiful thing to go through. And like, I am not someone who likes slow burn, but this I just absolutely love. I just couldn't get enough of it, and I was like rooting for them. I was like swooning, and like the sweet nicknames, the cute nicknames, like he calls her Radish because of one particular scene, and I'm like, oh, like I absolutely loved it. And then talking about Tokyo Dreaming, it picks up right from where Tokyo Ever After stops, and where it follows, where now she's trying to get her mom and her dad, who is the crown prince of Japan, to get together, and that navigating the press and the family who are against this American Japanese people who are now coming and trying to change the culture, who are trying to adapt to the culture, but like they see it as like they're trying to come and change everything. So navigating through all that, and now she has finished high school. She needs to know if she's going to do anything after high school, like is she joining university, what is she going to do, what path is she going to do. Like she has her royal duties, and trying to figure out her life and trying to manage the expectations of her father and the royal family, at the same time trying to help her mom and dad get together. No matter how many people are against them getting together, it's a lot. And then there are breakups and heartbreaks, and you know, fake dating that turns into a love triangle, and grand gestures of trying to win the love back. Oh my word, I just absolutely loved it. Even though it was young adult, I just couldn't put it down. I was devouring it so much, and I was so rooting for the OG couple, and not this new guy who came to fake date and he also falls in love, and this entire love triangle I enjoyed. But I was so rooting for Izumi and Akiko rather than Akio. Izumi and Akio rather than Eriku. I just did not like Eriku's wife, but I loved that they end up being friends at the end. And also, I love the character growth from book 1 to 2, like how Izumi grew, how Izumi started understanding her responsibilities and discovering herself, that she doesn't need to lose herself to become a royal, how to navigate the royal life, as well as how she warms up to her family, or rather the family warms up to her, like the twin princesses who are cousins in this case, who were like so cruel and bullying her in book 1, how she understood where they came from and they bonded, and somehow now they are best friends. I love the character growth like that. I love the bond of family, like between Izumi the prince as well as the mom, and then the bond that keeps growing between Izumi and her mom was like, wow. I loved how the friendship gang, like they have this friendship gang called the AGG, I think Asian Girl Gang or something, I can't remember what it stood for. I loved how the friendships were tested, but they still bonded through all that. They spoke and they somehow stick together without letting anything break them apart, being into different time zones, you know, and different ends of the earth, how the friendships are tested and all that. I just absolutely love this. I can't think of anything bad about this as well. And it's like Izumi is trying to find out where she fits in and how she could fit in better. I love this duology, guys. Like, definitely check this out. I gave both of these books a 4-star rating. Like, I'm not saying it was bad that I didn't give it 5-star. I have read books that are worthy of 5 stars this year, and this is just close, it's just close there, but I just couldn't give it 5 stars. I cannot explain why, because I don't know what it's just I gave both 4-star ratings. I also forgot to tell you all that I read Tokyo Ever After as one of the prompts of my uppercase YA reading challenge. Again, if you all are wondering what is this challenge this person keeps talking about, click up here so that you all can find out what I am talking about. I will talk to you all more about next week, because next week I am going to give you all an update on my progress of the challenge as well, and how it's going, and my thoughts on the challenge, and whether I will do more challenges next year would be contingent on this. So I'll talk to you all about that next week. That is a wrap on today's video. Those are the 4 books that I read in August. I absolutely enjoyed the read. I wish I read more, but at least I read this and I am not complaining. I absolutely enjoyed it. I hope y'all liked my thoughts on these books and my recommendations. If y'all did so, do add them to your TBR and get reading. Also, don't forget to give this a thumbs up and share this with friends and family so that y'all can help me grow my hobby as well. If y'all want to see more of me, and if y'all still haven't, please do subscribe to my channel as well as click on this little bell icon so that y'all get notified every time I post new videos. And it's time for me to say bye from Oh My Bird, Melly.